I was making dinner the other night, and I had a moment where I was thinking to myself, right now I'm overwhelmed and there's a lot going on and there's mayhem, but like if there was ever a time for me to want to quit this, it would not be right now. And then I was thinking to myself, okay, well, if I had to pinpoint the 3 times that would most likely be the times when I quit, what would they be? And we're going to talk about that today.
If Kevin and I were to have quit on this journey, given up, not believed it would be worth it or not believed it was possible, if we had let self-doubt stop us, if we had lost momentum or taken years off, most of you would not know us today.
Next Level Nation, today, for episode number 2073, that's a really weird number. Is that right? 2073? The 3 times you're most likely to quit. As I mentioned, I was cooking dinner the other night, and I was overwhelmed, but I was thinking I'm rather be overwhelmed with the things I'm overwhelmed with today than overwhelmed with what I was overwhelmed with 5 years ago. And were there times I wanted to quit? Not really.
What were you cooking?
I'll give you one guess. What I was
Chicken
cooking.
And rice?
It was ground turkey.
And rice?
I don't consider cooking rice because you just throw it in there and click a button. I actually physically cook the turkey, so that's what I was cooking. You do a little ground turkey, throw some taco seasoning in there, off to the races. That's all you need.
Nice.
That's it. Little ground turkey, white rice.
I respect it.
Yeah, keep it simple. And then a giant bag of Brussels sprouts. It's pretty much what I eat every day.
Nice.
See it. I flexed for YouTube. I'm not pooping if you're listening. So I was thinking, okay, if I had to, and I'm curious to what yours are. These are mine, and this is my take. The 3 times where I think most people want to quit. 1, before they start. So before you even start something, you convince yourself that you're not capable of doing it. You say, you know what? I don't really actually care about this. And then you make up excuses and you justify it. It's like, I didn't really care about it anyway, and I feel like it's a lot of work. And we just make excuses. So that's part 1. Part 2 is when the novelty of it wears off. So Alan mentioned, and I said, yeah, brother, I know. He's like, yeah, man, I started Business Growth University, and he's like, I'm only 2 episodes in, and it's already kind of worn off. It's like, yeah, it's not as exciting as it was in the very beginning. And I said, dude, I'm 152 or whatever episodes into Podcast Growth University. I have moments where it's like, what in the hell am I going to talk about today? And we've done 150. I've done an episode every week for the last 3 years almost. What am I going to talk about? The novelty. Then you find something. Then you find something. And you're always grateful after.
Yeah.
That's key.
That's key.
The novelty.
If you do it.
The novelty is worn off. The novelty has worn off. And that's another time when people quit, because it's like, oh yeah, no, I thought the sexiness was going to last forever and it was always going to be the sexy thing to do. No. And I think this one is not necessarily a sign that you should actually quit. It's a sign that you got to go back to the drawing board and really get clarity. When you start to doubt whether or not it'll be worth it. When you start to doubt whether or not you actually care enough about the results. Great example. When I did one bodybuilding show and I was planning on doing another one, and I was, I don't know, maybe a month out from my show, and I was fucking miserable. And I had that conversation of like, I don't know if I actually want to do this. I don't think it's actually worth it. And once I said that, like, do I think it's worth it to continue suffering for the next 4 weeks? I decided no, and then I did not do the show. I texted my coach and I said, I'm done. I'm not doing it. The second it doesn't become worth it, I think we have to at least revisit and go back to the drawing board and figure, okay, why is it not worth it? Has circumstances changed? Has our awareness changed? Were our expectations different in the beginning? So that, from my perspective, those are probably the 3 spots where people quit the most. Before you start, because you just count yourself out. When the novelty wears off, which it is going to do, unfortunately. And then when doubt of whether or not it's actually worth it creeps in.
There's a quote that says, it's attributed to Winston Churchill. I don't know if it actually was him or not. And again, but the quote's really powerful, which is, success is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. And the reason why I think that's a good quote is because one of the things that you didn't mention in your 3 is there's two others that my mind came up with while you were talking. One of them is when you get shit on by loved ones. When you get made fun of for your business or your podcast or your fitness journey or what you're posting, whatever it is, whatever endeavor, whatever dream you have. When you get made fun of, that is tough. It's a tough moment. And that's usually from embarrassment. Whenever you get embarrassed. My first fitness show, I thought I'd win and I came in 5th. I felt so embarrassed. And that is when it's like, fuck. Oh my goodness, what if I do that again? And the other one that came up, one is when you're embarrassed. The other one is when you meet failure, external results failure. So when you realize that everything you thought would work isn't going to work. That would be the second one. And when you realize that this is Mount Everest, this is not going to work the way that I thought it would. What's a good example of this? Okay, so this will be a weird example. I thought about this earlier. Everything in life is so damn hard because of duality. People say, well, you got to believe in yourself and you got to never let go of your dream. And then other people say, well, you got to know when to quit. Both are true. So I was getting ready for the day earlier, and I have these new shirts that I really love. And I put on this one that I fucking hate. I hate it. Every time I put it on, we all have those shirts or those articles of clothing where when you put it on, you're like, I fucking hate this shirt. This shirt sucks. And I sat there and I had a moment with myself. I said, well, I just bought it. All right, it's $27. Ellen, you're going to hate this shirt forever, aren't you? Yeah, just fucking donate it. Move on. Don't wear a shirt you hate for the rest of your life. Just fucking move on. And I had this moment. I brought it out to the garage into our donation pile. Our housekeepers, shout out to them. They take our donations. I'm very grateful. And well-paid housekeepers, by the way. I want to make that clear. Also, I had this moment coming back from the garage after putting my shirt that I had just bought. This is a fairly new shirt. Okay, this was wasteful. It was dumb. I shouldn't have bought it. But I also didn't know I was going to hate it. I came in from the garage and I sat there and I said, that is such an interesting concept. You have to hold on so fucking tightly to the future vision that you have, but be so wildly adaptive along the way. NLU, Next Level University. It started out as the hyper-conscious podcast. Change the way you think, change the way you act, change the way you live. It started out as conversations change lives. Be a fly on the wall to learn how to reach your potential. It started out as a completely different brand. It started out with you and I fishing every Father's Day. It's like, but we never let go of the vision. The vision stayed. The mountain we were climbing stayed, even though it was blurry. But along the way, the rebranding, the restructuring, the team, the people, the listener, the ideal listener, Next Level University, Podcast Growth University, Business Growth University, that's one of the hardest parts, and I think why a lot of people quit. You have to hold on so tightly to the ultimate dream and never, ever, 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 ever let go of it. But along the way, along the journey, you have to be willing to donate a shirt you fucking hate.
And there's going to be a lot of those. Not real shirts, but in this case, a real shirt. And there's going to be a lot of those. There's a lot of things that we used to do. I'm not on meetups anymore. That's weird. Like that's an evolution. There's a reason I'm not on meetups anymore. It's not because I don't want to be. It's because there are other things that require time. Somebody asked me, shout out to Charlie, the other day. Charlie's a member of the community and someone we work with on the website Design Front. She said, what's it like for you not to have anything to do with the NLU website? And I'm just curious, like, was it hard for you to let go? And I was like, it was weird for me to let go because I built the first website. The first website we had, and it was terrible. It wasn't good. It's not like I'm saying...
Kev's the best at 0 to 1.
0 to 1, I'll get you there.
0 to 1, he's
then
great.
I'll go start something else.
Can't scale a fucking thing.
No, I'll start it and then I go. I just let it ghost ride into the wall. But I said it's really weird, but it's really cool. It's really weird because it's relatively new, but it's really cool because I don't want to have my hands in everything anyway. So that's an evolution that needs to happen, and that's an evolution that I need to get comfortable with anyway. That's by necessity. So to your point, like that's within the thought process of we have to make sure we're focused, hyper-focused on the stuff that matters the most. And you're the coach and you're the trainer anyway. You should be doing those. And I'm out talking to podcasters. And so, yeah, just to speak to that point, I think that's super important. And yes, I think, yes, when you get kicked in the face and you have failure, of course, that's a common one for sure. What was the other one you said? Oh,
Embarrassed. When you get made fun of. Hello, NLU listener. Thank you, as always, for listening to Next Level University. Real quick, I just want to jump in and let you know about the Next Level Dreamliner. This is a journal that I use every single day. Achieve your dreams 90 days at a time. It breaks down your dreams into goals, milestones, and daily habits. We hope you enjoy it. The link will be in the show notes. People have a really hard time being made fun of.
Understandable.
Yeah, I've been made fun of so much. I didn't realize this, but you've been posting a lot of nostalgic stuff lately. A lot of the stuff I was made fun of for way back was actually working really well.
Like what? Fitness content
stuff. Yeah, fitness content. I remember being ripped a new one and made fun of repeatedly. And in hindsight, looking at some of those videos with the podcast audio in the background while I'm lifting, whoa.
Imagine if those
good shit.
People just weren't in your life and you never would have questioned, you just never would have questioned it.
I know.
That's so wild.
The hardest part of life, in my opinion, is figuring out what data to take in and what to ignore. People say, oh, well, you got to listen to the people. You got to listen to feedback. Well, customer's always right. Bullshit. It depends who your customer is. But you got to take in the data. You just can't. You have to sift through what is and isn't. I know that's a different episode. So we have 5 times when people quit. We have before you start, because you don't think it'll work out, or you're scared. Second one is when the novelty wears off. And FYI, everyone, I am still enthused about Business Growth University. So much, in fact, I'm going to plug it at the end of this episode. However, there was a moment of, okay, I'm going to do this forever now.
Well, yeah, I should have let you probably speak about it. That's on me.
No stress. But I do. I think it's cool that
Alan hates it. You have to start a podcast, and now he fucking hates it.
I definitely don't. But it's definitely turning into another part of the grind, and I need to bring the enthusiasm. But I think that's attitude, and you have to work on that. But I'm grateful to do it, and sometimes it's, okay, this is a thing now, and I have to figure out how to incorporate this into every single week from now on. And then I got to put the links on the website to make the PDFs downloadable. I mean, there's a lot of shit that goes with it, and I'm not making that wrong. But okay, so number 1 is before you start, you're scared. That's when you're most likely to quit. If you get through that, when the novelty wears out, you might quit again when you realize it's a huge mountain. The other one is the one I said, which is you're going to get made fun of. Someone's going to make fun of you, even if it's indirect. They're going to talk behind your back for sure. For sure. The 4th one that you said is what? And what was your 3rd?
When you doubt it, it'll be worth it.
When you start doubting, it'll be worth it. And then the other one is when you just get kicked in the teeth with failure. When you realize everything you're doing is not going to work.
Not the way you thought. Right?
I just came up with another one, and this is kind of a side tangent. I'll go quick with it. When you review your own work, it is so challenging. We don't talk about this that often, but when you review your own Podcast Growth University episodes, I just reviewed Business Growth University episode 2 earlier. I know intellectually that it's really, really good. I've been doing this a long time. If I were to compare it to someone else who just started a podcast, it's very good. And I know that's very, very valuable content. And I notice every little thing that I want to improve. I said so and okay way too many times because I'm so used to talking to you.
Yeah. Same. I know the feels, brethren. I know the feels. In the very beginning, I had a moment where I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this.
How'd you get through that? How'd you not quit?
I told you I would do an episode every week forever. So I was like, I'm going to have to figure it out.
That's the public accountability.
Pretty much. Yeah, it's huge. That's why it's so big.
I pictured in my head Kevin doing Podcast Growth University for the very first time. Imagine doing, 1,500 episodes with me and you. And
it was like 1,000. It was like 1,000. Because this was 3 years ago I started. Believe it or not. I'm 150 episodes in, 52 times, right? It's almost 3 years.
Nice.
It's wild.
Okay. So you've done 1,000 with guests or you also did other shows plus with me.
Yeah.
So 1,000 plus episodes where you're talking to other people on the microphone.
Yeah.
And then it's just you.
Yeah.
I would love to have been a fly on the wall for that moment when you got that moment of, do I suck? Am I the fucking worst? That inner dialogue of, am I going to be able to do this? Is this going to be terrible? Is Alan going to review this and think it's awful? Is everyone going to think I suck? And again, what was that like for you and how did you get through it?
That is still my thought. I was like, I think, do people hate me? Or do people like me? Do people hate me? I don't know. I feel like sometimes I get really good feedback. Other times I don't get any feedback. So how do you know? I just went back to, it took me 150 episodes interviewing to feel like I was remotely good at podcasting. So let's just see how long it takes this time. It was only like 5 or 10 episodes.
Nice.
So in the beginning, it was just like, let's see what happens. I mean, you're going to do this. So you're going to have to figure it out. It was that. And I think the other thing too, I don't know if this will land for anybody else. It's not the main thing. So I don't obsess over it that much.
Does your brain say, I can't do this? Like, what's your go-to? When you're struggling with self-doubt or you're thinking about quitting, what does your brain do?
Yeah, it says that you can't do this. You can't do this. No way. That. Yeah.
That's terrible.
It's the worst. But I
terrible.
think you can, again, it's like, I know that wasn't great. Thank you, brain. I appreciate that. Like, yeah, it wasn't great. But like, I feel like you're missing out on a lot of proof here. Like, don't forget about the 1,500 other episodes. Like, the comeuppance should be quicker, sir.
The comeuppance.
The comeuppance, whatever it is. It should be
term.
It should be quicker. I have more reps. Like, I just got to figure out the new flow.
Did you think that would go away eventually?
I sure as shit hope so. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna. Damn. That's a surprise. You eventually, another time you might want to quit when you get everything you think you thought you wanted and realize it doesn't fucking matter at all. It doesn't change anything. Externally, it does. But if you're like, yeah, when I get X amount of dollars per month, I'm going to feel good about myself. No. Nope. No, you're not. No, you're not.
When I have X amount in the bank account?
Yeah, no. Yeah. No. I can tell you that we had a goal amount when we hit, and it was like, when we hit that amount in the bank, everything's going to be fine. And honestly, it does change me a lot because when I have certainty, I feel really good.
Life is overall better. But
I still have the same, if not more, amount of problems than I did before. So, but that is it's a privilege to be able to fall back on that. I understand. I know I'm making light of that, but I think that's another time when you think there's something so beautiful about accomplishing something that you dreamed of, and then there is such a hangover after of like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So that's what that feels like.
And now I have to do this forever.
Yeah, now it's like, okay. So there will never be a scratch the ticket win $1 million moment.
Nope.
It's not gonna work that way, because then you have to deliver on that $1 million moment in order to receive the $1 million in this analogy. All right. What's your next level lesson? I got to call in 1 minute.
Whoa.
Yeah, it goes by fast.
Sorry about that. My next level lesson is, number 1, don't quit. And adapt along the way. Don't quit on your vision. Don't quit on your dreams. Don't quit on your goals. Attach to the outcome of the goal, the vision, the dream. However, be adaptive along the way and be willing to evolve and grow.
Mine would be, if you do get to a place where you feel like quitting, you're not alone. I think that is way more common than anybody admits. And hopefully eventually you get to a place where you remember what it was like to think that, but not have it anymore. Like, there's no part of me that's imagining quitting on this. Like, that doesn't really matter how bad it gets. I don't think it could be as bad as it was. So that for me, it's like, that's good. I like that. I like that. All right, cool. If one of the things you want to journal about is why not to quit, that's my bad. My pen just jumped right out of there. That means I've been using it though. We have the Next Level Dreamliner. It is on Amazon. It literally takes 5 minutes. I dreamlined today for the first time in a hot minute. And when I got to the end, I was like, I can't believe I've been putting that off because I felt overwhelmed when it comes to time. I'm not kidding. It took me 3 minutes. I'm not bullshitting you. So it's something that you can start sustainably and you can maintain even/especially when you are overwhelmed.
For the podcasters out there, Podcast Growth University, every single week, how to grow your podcast. For the business owners out there, Business Growth University, every single week from now on, how to grow your business. Reach your potential, Next Level University. Reach your podcast's potential, Podcast Growth University. Reach your business potential, Business Growth University.
Boom. All right. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Keep it next level. Next Level Nation.